Is it possible that the order in which you were born into your family could have long-term effects on your personality and development? The birth order effect, created by Alfred Adler, is the idea that the order a child is born into has a profound impact on personality. This shows the impact of how the environment can play a role on who we are. The birth order effect is the theory that the order in which a child is born into a family has a profound impact on their personality and development throughout their lifespan. Over half of our U.S. presidents were firstborns. Oprah Winfrey, one of the most influential and wealthy women in the world. Walter Cronkite famously reported on 1969 moon landing and assassination of John F. Kennedy, once known as most trusted man in America. Winston Churchill, steadfast refusal to consider defeat that inspired English during World War II, regarded as one of the greatest wartime leaders in history. Catherine Salmon, Ph.D., co-author of The Secret Power of Middle Children, said middleborns don't have the rights of oldest or privileges of the youngest, so they become experts in negotiation and compromise. 80% of middle children remain faithful to their partner compared to 65% of firstborns and 53% of lastborns. Barbara Walters, TV journalist known for Celebrity Interview, first woman to co-host nightly evening news program. Martin Luther King Jr., leader of Civil Rights Movement, 1960, message of nonviolence response to repression. John F. Kennedy, president avoided nuclear incident during Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962. Parents are more lenient, so youngest kids tend to be less rule-oriented, and yet they still get lots of attention. Jim Carrey, Eddie Murphy, Billy Crystal, outgoing, clever, humorous comedian. Prince Harry provided tabloid fodder with reckless behavior.
I would say that of those three adjectives, perfectionist would describe me the best. I think that really shows for me in school. I'm always very diligent with that and make sure that I'm knocking out my assignments before I do much of anything else.
I would probably put myself in the category of rebellious just because I do things that are more stereotypically viewed as rebellious, such as my nose piercing. And I express myself in probably more rebellious ways than an average child would. And I do a lot of things that my parents don't view as healthy.
I would put myself in the funny category because, first of all, like what I'm wearing, I'm brutally honest with people. I'm never exactly that nice. Like I am nice sometimes, but I'm never super nice and I'm very honest. For example, one time my mom was wearing a dress and she asked me if it looked good and I said no. So she changed and went to church and something else.
I would say that a big contrasting difference between me and one of my other siblings, Elise, would be I'm very by the rules in a lot of ways. And she kind of tends to do whatever she finds best for herself. And I mean, that's sometimes a good thing, sometimes a bad thing. It sometimes can get her in a little bit of trouble. But she's definitely fun to be around, so that's cool.
My older brother and Alec and I are probably least alike in the aspect that he's a lot more self-motivated than I am. And he's an overachiever. I'm motivated to do things that I want to do personally, but when it comes to school, I'm not very motivated.
I would say that there's a lot of differences between my sister Elise and I. Like, For one, she's super duper lazy. Like, I'm lazy, but I'm not even nearly as lazy as her.
So I've determined that I'm going to do engineering, mechanical engineering to be specific, and it's a really good fit for me because I've always been pretty analytically minded.
In the future, I'd like to go into graphic design. I view myself as a creative person, and I really like expressing myself through art and sharing that with other people, so I'd like to do advertising for a company and publish my work through that.
Well, when the birth order book came out, I think it was in maybe the year 2000, 2002, something like that, I was really impressed with it. And it was written by Dr. Kevin Lehman, who has 5 kids himself, much like me. And so I gave it to my oldest daughter to read. I'm not a huge reader, and she reiterated it for me and read it 3 times. I think it's very spot on. Especially in how it refers to firstborn being like the overachiever, many times the middle child being rebellious, and then the young child being very attention-seeking. So it's become kind of like a reference, and I have recommended it to many people through the years, and I absolutely believe in it.
As we have learned from our research, surveys, and interviews, birth order can have an effect on personality, but it is not law. Like any theory, there will always be exceptions. Birth order may influence, but does not determine personality. Birth order is not the only shaping factor for personality. Parenting and other environmental factors shape personality. Birth order does not guarantee certain personality traits, but some personality traits are commonly seen amongst a certain birth position.